Welcome to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm your host, Pete Mezzetti, sitting here with Howie Fields from the Nathan Fields Memorial Foundation. Howie, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing well, Pete. How are you doing today?
Good, thanks. Good. Thanks for coming down tonight. And we're going to talk about the foundation over the next half hour. But from what I understand, we have a panel tonight. So through Zoom tonight, we're going to bring in your daughter, Christiana, and your wife, Marie. Guys, welcome. How are you?
Hi.
Hi. Hey, how's it going?
Good, thank you.
Good. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Thanks for coming down and hanging out with us tonight. So I want to get the topic started about, tell us a little bit about the foundation and how everything got started.
So I'd like to go first with just
sure, go ahead, Marie.
What our mission statement is.
Sure.
The mission of the Nathaniel B. Field Memorial Foundation is to prevent suicide through public awareness and education, to reduce the stigma of mental illness, and to provide hope and support.
Okay.
Yeah, so the way the foundation was started was, it started on April 12th, 2015. Our 6-year-old son, Nathan, took his life. We were totally shocked by him doing that. We had no idea that he was suffering from a mental illness.
Okay.
He was like a normal, junior in high school. He played sports. He had friends. He was active in clubs. He excelled academically. He was looking forward to going to the prom, getting his driver's license, and we were just getting ready to tour some colleges in the spring break. So around September that year, Marie and I, after we had recovered from our loss, right, we thought that we'd like to start a foundation in his memory for a number of reasons. One is to obviously remember him, but also to help other folks with mental illnesses, and also to help other families hopefully avoid the agony that we went through when we lost our son.
Christiana, you have anything you'd like to add about your brother?
Yeah, so Nathan, like Dad just said, he was so smart. While he was definitely pretty serious at times, he was also a really goofy kid and had a really special sense of humor that sometimes kind of appeared out of nowhere. Some of my favorite memories that we had together really occurred during the summers when we used to play outside together, like playing pirates or sharks and minnows in the pool. And I really do have great memories with Nathan. I miss him very much.
And Marie, how about you?
Yep, Nathan, I have lots of good memories of him. He loved to play badminton. He would love to go fishing with his dad. He was a very avid reader. As a kid, he loved to take apart things and create and build things. He was always curious about the stars and the universe. He had a nice sense of adventure, but he also had this quiet confidence about himself. He, we refer to him as a gentle giant because he was 6 feet tall, 3 inches, and he was still growing.
Wow.
But one could see that, we were surprised at how tall he was becoming. But, one could always see that he was always thinking. His wheels were always turning while he was kind of taking things in. He often had a slight grin on his face, almost as if he knew something that we didn't know. But again, as Howie said, we suspect now that he, was suffering from an undiagnosed mental illness. And, he hid that from us, from his classmates, from his teachers, from his coaches, and from his friends. And it really shocked the community.
Howie, you have a favorite memory?
Yes. When he was entering his freshman year in high school, Nathan and I took a trip out west to Las Vegas, and then we lived in a car for a week. We cruised around, went to the Mojave Desert.
Oh, cool.
Visited, actually we went to Nellis Air Force Base, and we got a private showing of the Thunderbirds, and we drove out to New Mexico and Arizona. So we had a really good week together hanging out.
Cool.
Yep. Even let him drive for a while.
There you go.
Even though I don't know if his mom knows that. But
that's okay.
Word's out now.
That's okay. That's okay. From what I understand, you guys are actually also involved with the HK Holiday Show this year.
Yes, we are.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so every year the high school has a telethon, and they select a nonprofit group to be the recipient of the donations. And this year we were lucky enough to be selected as the recipient.
And what does that mean to you guys?
Well, it means a lot to us. One, we value the recognition that we got from the students and the staff at Haddam-Killingworth High School.
Absolutely.
Also, this has been a very difficult year, as all nonprofits could probably chime in for having donations.
Mm-hmm.
So for us, this is a very meaningful event, because the money that's donated to us, we're going to use in our local community for further activities that we've pursued in the past.
Oh, nice. Marie, what's it mean to you guys for yourself to be involved with the HK Holiday Show this year?
I'm honored that they selected us. I'm also grateful that it's going to be, a number of hours of talking about mental illness and suicide prevention. So I'm grateful to have that we're able to have that platform, because I know that it can potentially reach a lot of viewers.
Absolutely.
And this year of all years, especially, it's going to be really good to get our message across.
Absolutely. Christiana, what do you think about being involved with the HK Holiday Show this year?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So as a former student of HK, this definitely has a lot of meaning for me, because I grew up watching this show every year. It was always a really special day at school, a time for celebration, and also being able to see really amazing performances. I think that was always my favorite part. The chorus, band, and different individuals. Different students would always do such a wonderful job performing for everyone, and everyone came together for the holiday show, especially the HKTV crew, to put on just a really special day. And those holiday show days are some of my fondest memories from high school. There was always just such a great atmosphere. On that day, it was right before winter break. So it really, again, so honored, just like my mom said, that we were chosen to be on the show this year.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, next question I want to talk about is, what does everybody think that talking about prevention of mental illness is taboo?
Yeah, so I can answer that question.
Sure, go ahead.
So I would say the answer is yes.
Okay.
And especially talking about suicide, that's also a taboo topic. Right. I think we're seeing now more and more, it's publicized more and more that mental illness is prevalent throughout our society. With folks from all walks of life do suffer. In our country, 1 out of every 5 people actually suffers some type of mental illness, which it's just surprising to hear that. Right. So, and we also think that maybe there's more. So people are reluctant to talk about it because it's viewed as a flaw when you're mentally ill. Mm-hmm. It's not viewed as like a physical ailment, like if you were injured or had some kind of other medical illness. So I think it's good that we're talking about it here today.
Yeah.
And our group and our foundation and other foundations and other organizations are more and more bringing it to the forefront to reduce the stigma of mental illness.
Exactly. Maria, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Just to add to that, as Howie said, we really need to view mental illness as a physical illness, because it is. It's affecting our brain, which is a physical part of our body. And we need to just try to change that mindset around.
Right.
Make it less of a taboo.
Absolutely. Christiana, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I think they both brought up good points. I'm currently in my first year of a clinical psychology PhD program here at UConn, and in my classes, these facts are just have been reiterated, as well as we're learning about these different mental disorders and how they affect the entire body, especially the brain. And there really is, it really should be treated as medical illness, and not only to reduce stigmas, but also because of the services that are involved and able to help people find treatment and find the help that they need.
Okay. Now, what do we think about the current situation?
Yeah, go ahead, Christiana.
Well, if we're kind of talking about right now, with everything going on with the COVID-19 pandemic,
right.
Recent research that's come out has actually shown that the pandemic has been associated with increases in mental health challenges.
Right.
And these difficulties are in part attributed, of course, to the mortality caused by the disease, but also to the mitigation activities that are necessary. So those include like physical distancing and stay-at-home orders. Mm-hmm. And the CDC has released data showing that symptoms of anxiety and depression have increased considerably between the period of April and June, when that's specifically when they were looking at, compared to that time in 2019. And we know that while this, of course, is affecting people of all ages, it is disproportionately affecting our young population, so young adults in particular. People are feeling more isolated, anxious, depressed, and many are also grieving loss of loved ones as well. And I think one thing that's important to keep in mind is because of increased social or physical distancing, really, despite of that, we still can maintain social connections and care for our mental health. So keeping those things in mind, like staying connected with friends and family through technology, whether it's a phone call or video chat, can help us feel connected and less lonely or isolated.
Absolutely. Marie, what do you think?
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to add a few statistics.
Sure.
Now too, basically in general, suicide is epidemic in our country.
Right.
Back in 2018, the CDC said that it was the second leading cause of death for young people ages 10 to 34 nationwide, and it's the same here in Connecticut. It's the second leading cause of death for that age group. Basically that comes down to somebody dying of suicide every 21 hours in our state, and across the country every 11.2 seconds. Oh, wow. So it really, truly is an issue that needs to be addressed.
And Howie, what do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I think Marie and Christiana covered pretty much anything I would say.
Okay. Would you guys mind sticking around for another segment?
Sure.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll be right back.
We are neighbors and best friends.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.
Love is kind. Love is patient.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. Sitting here with Howie Field from the Nathan Field Foundation. Howie, welcome back.
Thanks for having me back,
Thank
Pete.
you. And panel of experts, welcome back as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. So guys, let's see, what do we want to talk? Let's open up this segment of as far as what's the biggest myth surrounding suicide prevention?
I can take this one.
Sure.
In my opinion, the biggest myth about suicide is that if you're concerned about someone and you ask them if they're suicidal, this can put the idea in their head. Right. And in fact, the truth is it can have the exact opposite effect. if you suspect someone may be at risk of suicide, it's important to directly ask the question about suicidal thoughts and don't avoid using the word suicide. It's important to be direct and, but asking the question in a non-judgmental way and without any dread in your voice, because if you appear confident that could, and caring, that could really be reassuring for a suicidal person.
Exactly. Christiana, you have anything you'd like to add?
I think that pretty much covered it. But like Mom just said, feeling confident that you're able to approach that person, and if you are hesitant about it, to know that it is okay to reach out to someone close to them as well. If you're really concerned about that person, I think that we have this tendency to think that this person might get mad at us, and while that may be the case in the short term, thinking about like the long-term benefits of raising those issues with them or with someone that they may care about really has important implications, and they'll come to appreciate that in the long term.
Okay. Howie?
Yeah, just to follow up on that, it is really important to talk with anybody if you think they're struggling, because they can tell that you're offering support, because a lot of times folks that are suffering from mental illness, they feel isolated and alone and often depressed, and they need our support. They need us to reach out to them, and they need us to have the dialogue with them to help them.
Absolutely, absolutely. And now, what's the foundation done to bring about mental health?
Yeah, so I can answer that.
Sure.
So we have in the Haddam and Kenilworth community, we have sponsored an actor, John Morello, performer, come to the middle school and high school, and he interacts with the student audience and the staff, and he has several different skits where he covers a variety of topics that impact the school community, like diversity, mental health, drug use, alcohol abuse, inclusion, and bullying. And so we've brought him to the community, not only just to HK and HK, but also to Deep River. We've also brought him to Durham, and we're hoping that in the near future, we've just helped sponsor John with other groups, the Brian Daigle Foundation, and two other groups to help John publish his graphic novel. It's called Dirt. So it's a book form of his live presentation. Obviously, because of the COVID pandemic, he's not able to go to audiences, to schools, or anywhere for that matter, and give his presentation. So we're helping. John reached out to us and asked if we could help him publish his book. And what he's going to do with that is he's going to be able to present the same material to his audience remotely. So that's one thing we've done. The other thing we've done is we teamed up with the Changing Mind Advocacy Group in Kenilworth, and we brought mental health first aid course to Kenilworth in I think it was, I'm gonna say, like January last year. Okay. And we helped the group with that, so that helps the community. We've also participated in several American Foundation for Suicide Prevention walks. We've done that, and we've also kind of slightly different than reaching out to community. We've also presented $21,000 scholarships to the HK graduates.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, for majoring in science, technology, engineering, or mathematics, or medical field, and that really is for two reasons. One is obviously to honor our son's memory, but also because Marie and I, and Christiana as well, we're big advocates of encouraging education, and so it's our opportunity to help our students pursue, college career. Yep.
Right. And now let's talk about the aspect of continuing all the good work that you guys do, because you guys sound like, I just learned about your organization because of the HK Holiday Show, but you mentioned that you guys were involved with the Brian Dangle Foundation.
Yes.
And actually, I coach lacrosse for Morgan out of Clinton, and they every year they do a jamboree, and the Dangle Foundation shows up, and there's actually a picture of about 9 different lacrosse teams with their yellow Brian Dangle Foundation T-shirts on and on the lacrosse field, and they're just a wonderful organization.
Yes, and so just to follow up on that. So when Nathan died, you know, we sought out a group where we could help our recovery.
Right.
That's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
And we were lucky enough to find the Brian Daigle Foundation. And Ann and Paul Daigle helped us immensely recover from Nathan's death. But it's not just us. They help hundreds and thousands of people in our community.
Oh, absolutely.
With a variety of outreach programs. I just can't thank them enough for the work they've done in our community, and the LAX stuff they sponsor.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, their son was a lacrosse player, Brian. I mean, that's the foundation was named after their son. He died by suicide as well, and yeah, it's as strange as this may sound. We've been fortunate. We've met through unfortunate circumstances, we've met some great people that are working very hard to help all our communities out.
Absolutely. Now, what is the foundation currently working on, and what do they plan on accomplishing this year?
So, Pete.
Yes.
I can take that one, but I would like to add a little to the last question.
Sure.
Speaking of the Brian Daigle Center for Hope and Healing.
Yeah.
Also donated a lot of books to their lending library, and it's good for people to know that there's books on grief and loss for all ages, children's books, some books for teens, and then for older adults. And then we've also donated money for the last 3 years to Volunteers in Psychotherapy, which basically it's a nonprofit organization that can give free or low-cost psychotherapy to people who need it in exchange, and it's very confidential. It's off the medical, insurance records, and basically it's in exchange for volunteer service hours in their choice, the client's choice of a nonprofit organization. So
very nice.
And then Howie, you were going to just mention what you've done at Pratt and Whitney, and then we've done a variety of different mental health fairs in the community too, and hopefully we'll continue to pursue those.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Howie, what do you think? What are you thinking?
Well, to follow what Marie said, I did several. They're called Pratt Chats.
Okay.
Before I retired from Pratt Whitney.
Oh, okay.
And so that's where we discussed what our organization was doing in the community, and it was broadcast to all the employees at Pratt Whitney. So it was like 30,000 employees.
Oh, cool.
And so that was very positive because I got a lot of confidential feedback from people that asked me for help and asked for guidance. So I was able to help my coworkers out.
Right.
And then also our foundation participated in several health fairs at Pratt Whitney. And to follow what Marie just said, we also worked with the Clinton Health Expo last year at the library.
Yep.
Obviously the pandemic kind of derailed our plans for this year.
Yeah.
But we're in the process of regrouping and hoping at some point that we're going to pick up where we left off.
Absolutely.
With the health fairs.
Absolutely. Now, if someone is concerned about a family member or a friend, what are some things that they can do?
If you or someone else is struggling, the first thing you need to know is that you're not alone.
Right.
The second thing you need to know is that there are many support services and treatment options that can help you.
Right.
If you're concerned about a family member or someone else, my best advice is to talk directly to them, listen to them carefully in a non-judgmental way.
Right.
And offer to help them by connecting them with, it could be a school counselor, it could be perhaps a coach that they trust or a teacher that they trust. a support group, a crisis line, or a website resource. There's a lot of resources on the web now. But if you're not comfortable doing this, then sharing your concern, like Christiana said, with someone that you trust, that you feel that would be able to support the person you're worried about. And if you yourself are the one struggling, but afraid to talk about it, there's a number of resources you can turn to. So if I may, Pete, I'd like to just take a couple minutes to mention a few of them.
Sure.
Feel like you're in crisis, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline.
Okay.
It's a lifeline, a phone call that you can call. It's available 24 hours a day. There's trained counselors that will answer. They'll talk to you through, what's going on and give you resources and to follow up with. If people don't feel comfortable making the phone call and they prefer texting, the crisis line has a text number 741-741, and again, they'll be texting with a trained counselor. So that's one nationwide resource.
I'll tell you what, Marie, give me about one more because we got about 20 seconds before we say goodnight.
Okay, National Alliance on Mental Illness, NAMI. They have various local chapters around Connecticut, and they offer, resources on mental disorders and support groups.
Okay. Before we say goodnight, I want to thank you guys for coming down tonight, and hopefully we'll have another discussion with you guys again soon.
That'd be great.
That'd be great.
Pete, thanks for having us here.
No problem. Christiana, thanks for coming down. Marie, thanks for coming down. Howie, thanks for coming down. We'll see you guys again soon.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
On behalf of Howie and the panel, I'm Pete Mezzetti. Thanks, good night, and we'll see you next time.